Okay, this is the teetering system for the paddle shift that I did for my replica build. These paddles are aluminum that I milled. They mount on a plate that mounts right to the area that's provided on the Sebring column that normally the airbag setup mounts onto, and there's a spool on there with electrical connections that goes to the steering wheel. I think it's for stereo controls. But if you remove that, you have room to put this plate on, and it's what your paddles mount to. The switch is right here for the paddle. You push on it. Normally, on this side, there's the little hockey stick that's right here. I took it off just for this video so you can see how the switch mounts in the plate. And there's plenty of room in the Sebring column down there to run an even larger switch if you can't find the smaller ones. But when you pull back on the paddle, the pivot of this paddle is about right in here. There's an upper plate and a lower plate that mounts to the main plate, and they hold the pivot pins for the paddle. So when you pull back on the paddle, it actually pivots at this point, pushing this hockey stick in to activate the switch. You can see how this works here. The same thing would happen on this side, but I took the hockey stick off. Now it's just loose. So you can see how the actual switch mounts in there. This is the Sebring column. This is the cover that comes with the Sebring column. It just has to be notched out to accept your paddles. So if you're building your own paddles or you're using like an OEM paddle or whatever, it can be cut to fit around your paddles cleanly. Coming over here, I have the switch. These are the switches. They're pretty simple switches. They're momentary. And when you push it, they click. I don't know if you can hear that, but it clicks. Once it's mounted on a plate in the car, you hear it much more because it actually reverberates on the plate a little bit, and you can feel it in your hand. You definitely know when it's clicked and when it hasn't clicked. So these are the switches. These are, like I say, I got them $1 a piece. If anybody needs them, I'll sell them for $1 a piece, plus whatever the shipping is. So these are the switches that I use. I always keep several on hand extra just in case the switch ever fails, but I've had my paddle shift system in the car for almost 3 years now, and nothing has ever failed on it. So once again, here we go. That's how it looks. If any of you guys, I know some of you are getting OEM replica paddles. I don't know how they mount or how rigid they are, but you really need something that's rigid. You can't have something that flexes. My friend bought some that were carbon fiber and tried mounting them in his steering column, a Sebring column, but they flex too much. So he's waiting. He's going to build some like mine. The paddles, the plate, and the switches are all available if you're using the Sebring column. It's a unit that will just bolt right in, and all the work is done. There's just 3 wires that supply power to the switches. So you could always change it to 4-wire, 2 wires per switch. But if you want to use it, for whatever system that you're going to come up with or whatever you're going to use, it's either going to be a 3-wire or a 4-wire system. So that's pretty much how it all works. I say once again, it's a pretty simple system, and I made it simple so it'd be reliable. Alright? I hope that helps you guys.